Here is just a lot of practice for you. I'll do question 1 and 3 with you, but I think I'm going to leave the rest for you. I didn't remind you that you should have these papers printed, and if they're not printed, it should all be written down. I don't know how you study if not. I'm going to use the triangles. You can use whatever you like. I like to remember my ratios. I like to fill in the CAST rule. And then I'll use what I need, 225 degrees. Well, I know that that's going to be in quadrant 3. I know that my reference angle is 45 degrees. So I can fill in this triangle here. And sine is y over r, 1 over root 2. But of course, I need to rationalize that denominator, and I need to check quadrant 3. In quadrant 3, x and y, sine and cosine, are both negative. Make sure you put the negative signs in. The quadrant's important because it reminds you to check your sign. Let's do the radians question here. Negative 2 pi over 3, maybe you want to change that to degrees. Now remember, when you change it to degrees, you're not changing, or you're not answering the question. You're just changing the way you ask the question. This is negative 120 degrees. So I know that again, I'm in quadrant 3. I know I have a reference angle of pi by 3 radians, which is 60 degrees. 60 degrees, all right, let's fill in that triangle here. Cosine is x over r, 1 over 2. But I'm in quadrant 3. That means cosine is negative there. All right, why don't you try question 2 and question 4? So question 2, 300 degrees is in quadrant 4 with a reference angle of 60 degrees. 300 is 60 away from 360. Tangent using the 60-degree triangle is y. Why did I put my y there? Is y over r root. Sorry, tangent is y over x root 3 over 1. But we had to check. This is quadrant 4. In quadrant 4, only cosine is positive. Tangent has to be negative. So the secant of pi by 4 radians, the question is, what is the secant of 45 degrees? This is not the answer. Now remember that secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So we're looking at r over x. In the 45-degree triangle, r over x is root 2 over 1, or just root 2. And of course, in quadrant 1, all of the ratios are positive. 2 more here, negative 210 degrees, 330 degrees. So negative 210 degrees takes us to quadrant 2. 210 is 30 away from 180, so that's our reference angle. Cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent, so we're looking at x over y using our 30-degree triangle. X over y is root 3 over 2. But remember, we need to check our quadrant. In quadrant 2, only sine is positive. I need a negative sign here. Cosecant of 330 degrees is in quadrant 4, 30 degrees away from 360. That's our reference angle. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So we're looking for r over y, or 2 over 1. In quadrant 4, only cosine is positive. So this is the reciprocal of sine. I need a negative sign here. 2 more questions for you. So in question 7, if you changed it to degrees, negative 225 degrees, that takes us to quadrant 2. In quadrant 2, sign is positive, so I can keep a positive sign. And I see my reference angle is pi by 4 or 45 degrees. So sine y over r rationalizes to root 2 over 2. Tangent of 4 pi by 3 radians is the tangent of 240 degrees in quadrant 3. In quadrant 3, tangent is positive. I don't need a negative sign there. I can see my reference angle, 60 degrees, tangent of 60 degrees, y over x. Spend all the time you need practicing these. Go to the homework assignments in Pearson and do those questions until you feel comfortable answering these without a calculator.